been traveling all around, of course, getting the latest in design trends.
That's true. I've been everywhere. I've been to North Carolina, Chicago, San Francisco. I've seen every trend, everything there is to see.
And then you bring it back here to us.
That is true, yes.
Tell us about High Point,
So High Point, a lot of people don't know about it because it's really within the design industry, but it's sort of like Fashion Week for the interiors business. So you know how twice a year fashion puts out their latest stuff? Well, twice a year the furniture industry does the same thing in April and October. And so they help us know what's coming in design, the trends, and what most people are usually interested in is the colors, because it's so much fun to see. So I brought you 3 distinct trends that I picked up on while I was shopping. And the crazy thing about High Point Market is you imagine it being like in one building. It's an entire town of High Point, North Carolina. So there's something like 70 million square feet. I don't know, it's crazy and absurd. There's no way you can see it all, but it's funny how you go to a few places and you see the same trends popping up over
it starts
and over
there
again.
And then it makes it across the country.
So one of my favorites, which people are going to, I think, really respond to well, because I just did a thing we're going to talk about in a minute, another course, and one of the things I was studying was the psychology of color and what people's favorite colors are. And still blue is everybody's, for the most part, favorite color.
The majority.
So cobalt blue, which is this really bright royal blue, is just everywhere. And we're seeing it in fashion. I think you've had some clothing this color, or even some shoes lately.
It's a good TV color too.
So really seeing this in home design. And the way it looks a little more updated is that excuse me, that trend of gray that we've been seeing is being paired with it. So you know, for a while, all the neutrals that were warm, like gold and tan, were on the wall, and then we phased into a gray period, and people are starting to kind of pick up on that. And so here's that idea of the blue and the gray together.
A little cooler colors.
It is.
Makes me think of that.
So I love what do you think about the blue?
I love that. And didn't you recently redo some of your house?
Well, I just bought a new house, and we're working on. I did add blue to my last house. Now I'm in a new house, so you should see it. It's full of boxes. But yes, I'm going to bring some blue.
I love it. You've got a little pink with it here.
Yes, pink and gray and all kinds of things. So you're seeing it with all sorts of color. It looks great with orange, which is a complement of blue. So all sorts of cobalt blue people are going to start noticing.
The next color.
So here's one that's a little bit edgier, and it's kind of interesting. I call it jadeite and amethyst, because you know in design we have to make up these froofy words that nobody knows what that means. But you know, I've brought in my plates several times that are in the jadeite color, so like a mint green. So this one's a little more retro, and people I've found are either purple lovers or not. But what I'm seeing is purple mixed with all sorts of greens. So, and there's a variety of colors of purple for sure, from lavender to what I think a lot of people do like is this eggplant, which is much more of a jewel tone. So we're seeing, you know, trends come in cycles, and we're seeing a lot of stuff that we saw in the 80s, like all those rich jewel tones of burgundies and navies and deep reds and even deep purple coming back around.
I was going to say this looks a little vintage to me, and I guess the 80s is where we saw it. So
it's coming back from, so purple everywhere, and every shade of purple, from light to really rich and dark.
You just have to find the shade you can live with on your wall.
And I never was a purple lover when I was younger, but I've really grown to like some of these because there's a lot of different options. And then the trend here was the two colors together, so the green and the purple together over and over. And I'll show you a picture of a showroom in a moment.
Beautiful. Okay.
And then the third one, which is the opposite of the gray that we were bringing in, is really almost back to the 70s, and what a lot of us remember being more of that like harvest gold. And it's not just gold colors, but also gold finishes. So a lot of people for a while were thinking brass was really out, and they were moving to things like oil rub bronze or brushed nickel for their fixtures and faucets and things in their house. Well, believe me, brass is back.
I never changed mine, so I'm good.
You are right in style. I mean, it is everywhere, from metallic wall coverings, which you know I love wallpaper, to these rich and almost harvest gold again that a lot of us have some not so great Brady Bunch memories from the 70s.
Our mother's stove and refrigerator was
but it is very much in. So if you're building a new house or thinking about updating, really brass is going to be what you want to move towards.
There you go. That's the future.
So just a couple of images that I took actually at market. Some chairs in a blue. This is that gold trend. You see it really strong on this piece of furniture. And the fun thing is that it's hard to tell. It looks white white, but that was actually a pale lavender piece of furniture right here.
Painted gold
with the gold trim. And then here was a great room that I loved by a really well-known designer in the industry, Alexa Hampton out of New York. She does a furniture line for hickory chair, and she really brought the whole green, jadeite, and amethyst together, and it looked really beautiful. And so you can see it shows up great on camera, but you can really see a version of what the purple and green could look like.
You see the colors here first, and now they're going to be the big trends. And then you wanted to mention something else.
Oh yeah, so I just did this really neat thing in San Francisco this weekend with House Beautiful magazine and a website called Creative Live. And I taught a 3-day workshop on color, which can now be purchased for around $150 for all 3 days. But I'm teaching 2 more. And so I didn't get a chance to tell you about this one before it went live, but I'm teaching one in January on finding your design style, and another one in March about really form and function, so how to make your interiors work for you. And the cool thing about Creative Live is if you sign up and watch while I'm teaching it live, it's totally free. So you could watch 3 days, almost like you're in one of my design camps, right there on the web from your house, completely free. And then if you want to buy it later, I think it's really affordable because it's really hours and hours of content now for like $150. So people can still get access to my color talk that I did. And I mean, it was 3 solid days
what
of
other
how
people,
to use color in your house.
Other people are paying for it. You can do it for free. Let's put up the information, of course, and to find out how to get online and do that. Can they do that from your website?
They can find my website on my blog. We talk all about it. And of course, we're having lots of camps again here, so they can find out about all of those at tobifairley.com.
That was a lot of information.
Squeezed into a little
all
bitty
about
segment.
your interior design and making it more beautiful. Thank you, Tobi.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Okay, back.